And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Oh, that's right. It is the Weighing In podcast with John McCarthy and the real Punk. Josh Thompson, they didn't need to say your name. They don't have to say your name.
We did
you were not doing it. We're not having you start this show because that would be a travesty.
Dave did
did you wrong.
The part where it was me first like 2 times ago. And I jacked it up so much and now we're back to Bobcat. We're back to yours. This is wrong. This is wrong. Look.
Not wrong at all.
There is so much to talk about. And I know everyone's thinking like, oh, Josh, here he comes. He's going to be nice, say this and this. Rah, 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 like the teacher from Charlie Brown. I get it. But
we got it.
Look, John and I have a great time. We are here in London. We were in Paris last week. We are now here in London in Wembley. I am stoked to be here. I love Wembley. I love London. I love this whole area. Everyone here is amazing. And I love the fact that we sell these arenas out every single time when we come to Bellator here.
Crazy good crowd.
I've ran around this whole area and people are like, oh my God, Bellator. Because I was wearing a Bellator shirt today. Everyone's like, oh my God, Bellator's, they're here. That's right. MVP. He's fighting this guy. He's a good wrestler. What do you think he's going to do? Well, we're going to talk about it.
He's going to wrestle.
We're going to talk about it a little bit. But guess what? I feel like John and I have to clarify some things.
Do we?
Let me roll my sleeves up. Okay? Because I'm going to go hard in the paint on you guys right now. But look, all you guys in the comment sections, because I'm the only guy on this show that reads comments, by the way. But I love you guys. And I love the fact that you guys come at me. I love the fact that I can read them and you guys are aggressive at me. I don't like the negativity because you don't need to. You can just talk to me like as if I'm like your friend because that's really what I am. I'm the only guy that reads the comments because John.
That's what makes you a friend is that you read the comments?
Well, do you understand where they're coming from?
Are the comments
understand.
For us to actually read or the comments for our people who listen to talk between themselves?
I think we should read them and get influences from them. Like a comment. I want them to feel like they're part of this show. And
you want them to think that they have a voice.
They do have a voice with me.
Good. You have
Maybe
no voice with me.
You have no voice with John. But I take a lot of what you guys have to say a little bit to heart.
Just kidding.
Not in a rude way, but I actually love listening to your guys' comments. I read your guys' comments. I read them out loud sometimes to myself.
That must be how you listen to them.
It is because I read them out loud to myself. Well, look, I have fun with you guys. I even kind of banter back sometimes in some comments. But I want you guys to understand this, is you guys get on me for the Islam love.
Makhachev?
Yeah, for Islam Makhachev in terms of like, hey, so you guys are clear. You guys got to understand. Some of you guys have no idea, because I've read some of the comments.
Oh my God.
You guys have no idea you guys think I've never trained with this guy. You guys act like I've never rolled with him. I've never trained with him. I've never sparred with him. I have done all of those things. Now,
for years.
Yes, for years, not for a little bit. Since the kid was like 19, 20 years old when he came to AK. I've been training with him that long. So look, not only is he a great person, look, and I'm not gonna ride his coattails right now. I'm gonna simply say this. Charles Oliveira is 100% a threat to him. There is no doubt about that. I would be foolish to say, if you guys are watching this and listening to this, okay, on your guys' audio platforms, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, all those things.
John is saying number one. Charles Oliveira.
Number one. You think he's going to win?
Right now?
This show of Weighing In is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Big John, I made money already off of you.
You did.
For this Oliveira and Justin
I'm not
Gaethje's
happy about that. But notice that I paid right away.
Yes, you did. Okay. Actually, to be honest.
And that's what my bookie will do for you.
And I forgot. So... That's why you have MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Use our promo code WeighingIn. Use that QR code right over there. When you put your first initial deposit, they'll give you a little extra spending cash. But on top of that, though, they will let you know next time you log in that you've won money. So when you don't forget, like me, okay, that someone owes you money, like Big John paid. He paid me the $100, and I said, "What are you paying me for?" You said we had a bet for the first round. It seems like I seem to be on track a lot these days.
Wow.
Islam Makhachev.
Hold on. Let me do this for you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you very much. But hey, when you guys go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code Wayne and that QR code right there for your first initial deposit. You get a little extra spending cash. And we want to thank you guys for continuing to support us. MyBookie has stuck by us through this, and we'd like you guys to stick by us by also joining mybookie.ag using that promo code Wayne. I don't think he's going to win.
That's okay.
Okay, but here, I understand why John feels that way, but I'm not going to say it's going to be a shutout. I'm not going to say that because Jim Miller subbed him 15 years ago. I don't even know when that sub was. Okay, that he's going to end up that Islam can sub him. I'm simply saying this. Charles right now is fighting at a level that no one else is able to fight at. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I want everyone to understand that. In the comment section, you guys post down below. Talk to me. I'll talk to you back. Okay, Goose? I got you guys. Okay? It really comes down to the fact that, like, I have trained with Islam. I'm not disrespecting Charles at all. I think, honestly, he is on another level than everyone else in that division. But that being said, look at the guys that he has fought. Okay? None of them are submission guys. Give me one guy.
Well, when you say
Tony,
none of them are, okay,
that would
exactly.
be it.
Tony's a damn good submission guy, and
Yes.
Dustin's not a bad submission
He's not
guy.
bad, but he's nowhere near Islam's
I
level.
didn't say he was the same as Islam, but he's not bad.
But even people look at Islam and they're like, oh well, he's not at the level. Like maybe you guys have never seen it to the point where I agree. Fine. If you guys want to say he's not at Islam is not at his level, I'm okay with that. I understand that. I appreciate that. Charles Oliveira has a level, and I was actually listening to a couple other shows today because that's what I do. I listen to other people's shows because I respect other journalists, other people's opinions, and I do.
Liar.
I do. And I will, you know what? And I'll even give a little rub to the nose himself because he brought up a good point. And also one of our other guys that works for Showtime, and Luke Thomas. They brought up a good point. There's one thing, and we brought this up as well, but we didn't touch on it as much as these guys did. He is at a level at 155 in jiu-jitsu that you don't see very often in terms of on the ground, that no one wants to engage the fact that won the fight, they do not want to engage on the ground with him. There's only been a handful of fighters that have been able to do that. Nino Schreiber being one, okay, who was in Pride back in the day, but never won a world title, was never that guy, was at the top of the echelon, okay. Verdum, definitely. Nogueira, for a while, was that guy. Fedor kind of exposed him a little bit, but still, majority of the guys that he ever got taken down by or
did not want to go
to the ground. That style in which they fight, when they get dropped, they get hurt, they get rocked, they sit back to their back going, come to Poppy. He has that level right now that not everyone has. And the only reason, and I'm being honest like you guys, I understand which guys have you seen jump into his guard? Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler understands it because he's never been submitted. He's never been put in a position.
Well, he's been put in bad submissions, but he's gotten his way out of it.
He's gotten his way out of it. He understands what it takes to get out of those positions. He understands relaxation. He understands. He is someone that I think the body style helps a lot. No neck, really just traps to ears.
Super strong.
Okay, super strong. Hard to really submit. He's super stumpy, so his knee bars, ankle locks, those things are not available really to him. Okay, and his arms, he's physically strong, so he can just curl you anytime he feels like he wants to get out of an arm bar. That's the Michael Chandler. Look, and I just gave him a lot of props. Most of you guys know that doesn't happen very often. So I will continue to carry on. I will carry on the fact that, look, when it comes to the ground, there are certain fighters that have had success. Now, I'm going to go back to even the Kevin Lee fight. Kevin Lee was able to take Charles Oliveira down at will. Look, Kevin Lee is nowhere near as good as Islam, nowhere near as good as Michael Chandler when it comes to wrestling or submission defense, okay? So he had some success. Now, don't get me wrong. John and I talked about this. Charles obviously won the fight. Charles dominated the fight. There was positions there that were threatening all the time. But Kevin Lee was able to defend quite a bit and still landed some good shots from the top. Still had some good takedowns and was able to get the takedowns pretty easily. Islam will be able to do that. Now, when you get to that level, and I've said this I don't know how many times, guys, okay? I am a huge fan of Charles Oliveira. You want to know why? Because he beat Michael Chandler. That's why I'm a fan. Okay, now everything else besides that, he is a fucking great fighter.
Okay,
absolutely great.
I want you to answer a question then. The Charles Oliveira that fought Kevin Lee, that was basically in 2019.
Okay.
Different
Charles.
Oh, yeah.
Different Charles?
That's the whole point.
Look at the Charles today.
There is a big difference even between that Charles and the Charles that beat Justin Gaethje just the other night. His confidence is way above.
The words that I wanted to hear from my guy here. Finally, he's finally able to keep up with Josh Thompson. The confidence. Say it again. Say it again.
I'm serious.
I'm coaxing you into this.
Is this what it is? You're the one doing this? Okay.
I love it. So I want people to know that we're in the same room, by the way. We're in the same room. See?
He believes in himself, and he believes in his ability. Look at he put himself in positions to stand, bite down on that mouthpiece, and look for the openings that Justin Gaethje gives by dipping his head down. He believes in his stand-up too, and his stand-up is good. And here's the big difference. And I've said this multiple times, and I believe it to be true. And it could, other people could argue and say, "No, I'm wrong." There is a difference between the one guy that I think would give right now Charles problems. Is Khabib would have given him problems.
Absolutely.
Khabib and what he does and what Islam does, they're different. And the difference being is Islam responds to someone hitting him different than Khabib responds to someone hitting him. Khabib just almost systematically walked through guys that could hit hard to get that takedown, to just put pressure on him to the point they had to stop throwing shots to try to stop what he's doing. Islam's not the same guy.
Can I rebuttal you?
Yeah, you can.
Who's the better guy on the ground? You want to come to me for that answer?
No, I know that answer.
Who's the better guy on the ground?
Hold on. Who's the better submission guy?
Who's the better wrestler, grappler?
The better MMA guy on top is Khabib. Okay.
But who is the guy that
that has better submissions is Islam.
The guy who has better submission defense?
Islam. Yeah. I admit that.
Where's the threat on the ground then?
The threat's there. The threat is there because Charles Oliveira can pull that submission out.
He cannot.
Yes, he can. Because all it takes is you getting a step behind.
And so, but the thing is, I don't think he'll be a step behind when it comes to the wrestling transition, to the grappling, to the submissions. He will not. Khabib would have been more of a step behind. That's where people need to understand. I am not just riding Islam's coattails. I'm simply saying this. Khabib, the one thing that he was good at was aggressiveness, taking the shot, getting the takedown, putting himself in the takedown position, in a good position to make sure he wasn't getting stuck in submissions on the way down. But on the ground, when it came to the submission defense, I've rolled with them much times. I've seen other guys roll them. Don't get me wrong. Like I said about Islam and with Khabib and all the other Russians and Dagestanis that train at our gym at AKA, I've seen them roll. You guys hit me in the comments going, "Oh, he's never rolled with Leo Vieira. He's never rolled with Buchecha." Did you guys forget? AKA was with Checkmat during that time that they were successful.
Buchecha used to fucking train there.
He used to train with AKA. He used to train with DC. He used to train with us. I've rolled with him several times. We've all been to Checkmat headquarters in terms of for Pan Am training camp and World's training camp. These guys, I've seen them roll with Lucas Leitch, with Palito, with Philip Pomoski. I've seen them roll with all.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're all pretty good. Okay, these guys are the best guys in the world. Some of the top guys. Now everyone kept throwing out Gordon Ryan. I'm like, guys, not a lot of guys have had an opportunity to train with him. He's trained with Danaher. He's trained with but he's obviously at a level as well. Okay, but just because you didn't train with one guy doesn't mean you haven't trained with the best guys in the world. Okay, still train with some of the best guys in the world. These guys have had success against some of them. Now, I won't say who and what, but they've been doing pretty damn well. John really has his cell phone on right now. Seriously.
Well, that's because I'm looking for Lynn to get back to me.
So, my thought is this. Charles Oliveira deserves all the respect that I am trying to give him right now. I know I keep talking about Islam. Charles Oliveira, there's no doubt. When you're comparing the two fighters, it doesn't matter. Who shows up that day at 1% will win. That's it. 1% or 0.5% better, whoever shows up. 0.5%, maybe even less. Whoever woke up and said, "You know what? Fuck, I'm feeling it today." And the other guy said, "You know what? I'm feeling it too. Just not that much." That's all it takes. It really does. When you're talking about the best guys in the world.
I'm feeling it, but my balls itch.
But my balls itch, yeah, because my balls are hot. Okay? You guys understand what I'm trying to say. Look, and I hope so. You guys are going to comment in the bottom, and I'm going to actually read them because I spent hours reading all your guys' comments. And I had comments.
Here's the thing I want to talk about.
I love it. Go ahead.
Do you think it was right for Charles to be stripped of his title?
You're being a jerk right now.
I'm not being a jerk.
Yes, I absolutely do. And look, and I've like I said, I listen to other people's shows, and I like those people. Okay, I like the rub. Okay, everyone knows who I'm talking about. Okay, Mr. knows himself, and I like Luke Thomas. I like those guys. The bottom line is, look, you signed a contract to say 155. Do I think it's right? Yes, because you signed the contract to say 155. Now, John and we agree on how that is all established. The reason why you saw when Khabib got on the scale and it was like 155, boom. The reason why you saw that is because, look, no different when you're wrestling in high school and college. You set the scale at the top. You set the scale at the weight. If the scale breaks, it's good. Boom. Run it off, it's over. If the scale drops off the end, if the scale makes a break off the end, guys made weight, boom, slide it over. The reason that it's scary is because John and I have talked about this as well, is if you get a digital scale, right, John?
Yep.
That scale now says 155.1, 155.2. You're still overweight. Go cut the weight. That's where you run into a problem. So now it becomes more concise, more
personal,
accurate. It's more accurate than a normal scale that you just slide over. Now, did the Arizona Commission fuck up? No, they didn't fuck up, but they could have been like, fuck it.
They were very. Here's the problem with it is,
he knows a little bit more than I do.
This is what it comes down to. There's letter of the law, and the letter of the law says that the fighter shall weigh in for championship weight. That means that in lightweight, it's 155.0 or below.
Tell them the story of me with Gil. Several times.
You and Nate.
Oh, me and Nate as well. Oh, me and Nate too. But the me and Gil thing was this, is that I weighed in, it was for a title fight. Me and Nate was not for a title fight.
No.
But Gil and I, several times, all three of our fights were in California.
Can weigh in one time.
You can only weigh in one time.
If you miss weight,
you miss weight.
You miss weight.
They don't let you. There's no hour. There's no 2 hours.
That's changed, but that's the way it was.
Back then, it was no hour. There was no 2 hours. You had no time to make the weight. You lost your opportunity to win your title. So when I fought him the first time, it was one time. Second time, one time. So literally just skivvies. Don't even take a chance. I knew I was on weight, but still, you never know what the scale is going to do. So that is a different situation. Things have changed. Okay, but the thing is, we went from all three were on an actual real scale on one of those
triple beam scale,
whatever they call. I don't know what they're called.
Called the triple beam scale.
Okay, but that changes the way you look at things. You need to come in on weight, and I am not in favor of the way that the Arizona Commission handled it because it should have been. It broke, done. It should have been that way. And people gave Khabib a hard time. So did he really make the weight? Did my teammate really make the weight? I don't know. You want to know why? Because it broke. Once it breaks, that means that you're actually at the weight you should be.
Yeah,
that's all it means.
If you're putting hands on towels and things like that.
We don't discuss that, okay? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that, okay? We don't talk about Bruno. We just go, okay? For those of you guys have kids, you guys understand. We don't talk about Bruno, okay? So we just swipe the weight and move over. Podcast Dave, you understand?
The whole thing is this. I look at it like, I understand there's rules, but there's spirit of the law and there's letter of the law.
That's not how the law works.
Yes, it is.
No.
That's exactly how the law works.
You either broke the law or you didn't.
No.
John, you're a former cop. You should understand that. You either broke the law or you didn't.
Okay? That's the way you look at it, but no.
That's not the way it is.
I look at it, when they're at that position, is there an advantage being gained by one fighter? And there's not. And there's something was off based upon he went another hour and didn't lose 1 ounce. Something's up there. Something's wrong.
Well, sometimes you can't get your sweat back.
It doesn't matter. An hour of time,
sometimes you can't get your
at least
sweat
take
back.
an ounce.
John, I would agree with you normally.
An ounce.
I would agree with you normally, but when I fought Clay Guida, I lost 12 pounds.
1 ounce.
I lost 12 pounds in 2 hours.
Yeah.
After I got done with those 12 pounds, I literally could not sweat one more drop. I didn't lose anything. I actually gained a half pound.
How the hell did you gain?
No idea. There's
no way that you gained.
On my scale, it said
something's wrong.
Then I went home, went to sleep.
You're not putting any in your
Went
mouth.
home, went to sleep, slept off a pound, woke up, was able to sweat just fine.
Yeah.
It really depends. I think it depends on what your body's willing to give you. He may have been so depleted that his body wouldn't give anymore. I mean, that's kind of once you stop your sweat, it's hard to get it back going.
This is true.
And so every fighter, not fighter, but most wrestlers will tell you that. But I want to make sure that, do I think that he got screwed? No, I don't think he got screwed. You want to know why I don't think he got screwed? He signed on the dotted line saying he will make the 155. Now, could the commission have done him a favor like they did with other people?
How many times?
Like they did with Nate Diaz.
How many times?
In California, they did it with Nate Diaz.
Okay, in California, how about up in Canada with George St. Pierre? How about in all these other spots?
Yep.
Let's be honest.
When you look at, when I fought Nate, it was the same exact thing. He weighed in, he was a pound over. A pound over 156, by the way. Then he dropped his skivvies. He was still a pound over, like a little over half pound is what they said. Then not Nate, but Dana and Joe Silva, they all huddled. And as you know, he was on weight. They had a conversation with the commission. They said, look, scale could be wrong. Let's do it again. They still looked around. He never made weight. But at the end of the day, if you're a fighter, you have to fight that fighter no matter what. You shouldn't care about what they weighed in at, because at the end of the day, a half pound, you're going to tell me a half pound is really going to keep you from living your dream and winning that fucking title? You're out of your goddamn mind. I told Joe Silva right after that, I said, I don't give a shit if he was a half pound over or if he was fucking 8 pounds over. I would have still fucking fought his ass.
8 pounds is different. It's different.
I think at that time, right, I'd already done all the work. I was like, I'm good. I fought guys that were 205 back when there was no money. Like, you're going to pay me this amount of money to fight someone? I'm like, fuck it. So, you know what I mean? But anyways, Nate didn't wake, but still, the fight was the fight. It how it happened. It goes down the way it did. But to me, Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev is the fight to make. Everyone says, oh, he's got to fight Dariush first. No, okay, fine. Have him fight Dariush, but it's got to happen soon.
Why?
Is Dariush ready to fight? What? And the other thing, too, is why are you getting rid of one of your number one contenders?
That's what I'm saying. You
have no one else to fight him. He's already beat the other guys. He's already beat Dustin. He's already beat Justin.
The two that Charles has not beat
Justin, and Chandler.
He has not beat Dariush, and he has not beat Makhachev.
So why would you get rid of one of your contenders? What happens? Let's just say, and I honestly think, you have Dariush fight either Chandler to see if he refights for the title again, which is a fun fight because the two of them are crazy and wild. Okay, to me, I'd love to see that fight. That to me would be a barber, especially if it was a main event. And I would love to see Nate versus Chandler as well, because there's a lot of talk. We'll talk about that later, okay, because that's some news we're going to talk about. But John, the fight to me to make is, and everyone's like, oh, he's a fighting top contenders. I'm sorry, but what's his name? Arman Sarukian, Moises, who else? I know Bobby Green's not in the top, but it's like these are all things that Bobby Green was out of his control. Last minute replacement, that type of stuff. If you want to compare, but who has Dariush fought? Who has he fought recently?
Tony Ferguson.
What? Really? You're saying that deserves to be like, who's going to get the title shot?
Well, it should be Makhachev.
Yes. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Because if you already have Justin, you already have Dustin, you already have Chandler. They've all fought for the title already.
Charles is on what? A 10 or 11 fight win streak?
I think it's 11 now.
And Makhachev is on a 10 fight win streak?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's the matchup.
Yeah, it's the matchup.
Gaethje deserved the shot, I thought, based upon his win over Chandler.
I thought over his performance, yes.
Yeah, I thought, you know what? He deserves that shot.
Yeah.
He got the shot. He wasn't able to do it. Now it's Makhachev. He gets the shot. That's the way I believe it should be. And I would like to see Dariush and Chandler, but obviously
I think it's a great fight.
That's not going to happen.
But if it was him and Nate, I ain't mad at that. But I would also, I don't want to see it be a 3-round fight. I want to see it be a 5-round fight. I want to see Nate and Chandler 5 rounds.
Yeah, I know why you want to see Nate and Chandler 5 rounds. Because you know Chandler starts to fall off after 3.
I'm only speaking the truth.
And you know that Nate...
But you know in a 5-round fight, it'd be more fun.
It would be more of a challenge.
Yes. But it'd be a fun fight.
Because where's he going to fight him? At 170 or 155?
I think,
he's going to fight him at 170.
That's different. See, that's a different... You may see a better Chandler.
You might.
You might see it because
he's not cutting the weight.
He sucks a lot of weight.
Yes, he does.
He sucks a ton. I know he's only 5'6", but he sucks a lot of weight. So he's got huge legs, big back, big shoulders.
He's a little taller than 5'6".
Maybe 5'5" and a half.
How did 5'5" get taller?
My math.
Okay.
We're just doing math. Okay. Let's talk about but look, that's the fight to make. Islam or do you have, because if you do Dariush and Islam, you're getting rid of the number one contender. You're going to have one guy fight for the title, the other guy's going to drop off, and then you have a mix again of Dustin, Dariush, Chandler, and Justin all in the mix. Why not just have Islam fight for the title? He's on a longer undefeated streak. And then you have Dariush fight Chandler, or you have Dariush fight Justin, who's ranked ahead of Chandler. that makes more sense. And then the winner of that fight will fight for the title next.
Yeah.
And then you have, I would love to see Chandler and Nate, to be honest, in 5 rounds. You know? I think it'd be great.
I think it'd be a good fight too.
Great fight. I mean, the fans would win on that fight. Yeah.
Let's talk about the fights coming up.
Okay, Bellator this weekend.
Yeah. We've got Logan Storley against MVP, Michael Venom Page.
I had lunch today with Logan Storley.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I said hello to Logan Storley today. That's about it. I was working all day.
This morning. Yeah, you were in the room doing some research. I was smooging with the fighters.
You're smooging because you're up at that desk. You don't have to go.
Well, I don't want to have to talk to the fighters tomorrow at the fighter meeting, so I just talked to them all today. And
look
I'd
at
let you guys run the show.
I'm going to go, you're so full of crap.
Because tomorrow when they ask me, do you have any questions? I'm like, nah, I have no questions.
Good.
No. The bottom line is this really comes down to a throwback fight, right?
Yes and no.
Wrestler versus striker.
Look, yeah, it's the classic wrestler versus striker, but there's just a difference, that from the ones in the past, the wrestlers didn't have good striking and the strikers didn't have any wrestling, so it was usually, once they got put on the ground, then they're done. The real problem for Logan Storley in this, in my opinion, is MVP has exceptional timing, and he does keep his hands down all the time. So his hands aren't up, his hands are already down, which makes it a little bit more difficult for Logan if he comes in for that takedown. Where's Michael's hands already at? They're down low to help stop that, because he knows, yes, he got taken down by Paul Daly, but he didn't expect Paul Daly to take him down. That helped Paul Daly. He knows that Logan Storley is going to try to take him down. So he's going to be looking for that moment when Logan, and if you watch Logan, there's a definite side that he tends to go to more. And so he's going to look towards, okay, I want to hit him on this entry when I'm going to make him pay and make it to where all of a sudden now he doesn't want to try to take me down, or he's shooting for such bad takedowns that I get openings that I can attack him. Logan's thing is, hey, get him to the ground. You want to take MVP off his feet, take him out of his comfort zone, put him in a place where he can't use all those tools, and you're going to get your win. So you're right. And both guys can win. It's a fight where either guy can win. It depends on who's able to implement their game plan.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is it that wrestlers that understand that stand-up guys that have no ground, why don't they fight these stand-up guys how Cain Velasquez fought Junior Dos and how Randy Couture fought James Toney? Just shoot low-level ankle singles.
Low levels.
All the time. There's no way they come out of offense. If you got to chase them around on your knees, your hands and knees, to get the takedown and eventually get it, no one cares. When I look back at the Cain Velasquez fight, people look back at the first round. No one mentions how Cain chased him around on his hands and knees to get the takedown. Mm-hmm. When he finally got him and got him on the ground, he fucking mauled him. Then when he finally got in the second round, Junior wasn't the same fighter. In that first exchange, he was the same fighter for about 30 seconds. And then after that, he wasn't the same fighter. And Cain still chased after the leg, still shot low level, still rushed him to the fence, trying to put his forehead underneath his chin. And then he just grinded him against the fence, just lit him up against the fence, just took him down. Dominated position, knees, elbows, fists, uppercuts. All of those things. Go back to Randy Couture and James Toney. First shot he shot it in his toes.
A low single.
It was a low ankle pick. Yeah, ankle pick. It was an ankle pick.
Something you never do in MMA.
But why?
It was brilliant.
Why don't like if I'm Logan Storley, why am I shooting at waist level or knee level to shoot ankle?
You do have to be careful. What Randy did. Normally, if we're going to do that in wrestling, when I'm grabbing that ankle, I'm grabbing my wrestling boot. I'm grabbing that boot that person is wearing.
Show hand behind the ankle, yeah.
Yeah, because it's got some grip and it's hard for them to get it away.
Yeah.
When it doesn't have anything, it's pretty easy for it to get away.
It can be.
You got to be careful.
It can be, but
if you're not used to wrestling like James Toney was, he had no idea how to get away from anything, and it was just a pull and a fucking.
Now MVP's used to wrestling, but he's not used to the level of wrestling that Logan Storley brings to the table.
Absolutely not. There's nobody that he's wrestled in any fight or even in practice that is going to be the same type of wrestler that Logan Storley is. And look, this is the truth of the way I look at it. Not every wrestler can transition into MMA. Mm-hmm. What they do sometimes doesn't work in MMA. Logan Storley is exceptional
Pico,
with his wrestling.
same thing.
and
Pico.
MMA.
Aaron Pico
is exceptional with his wrestling and MMA. There are those guys that are like that. You know, Henry Cejudo is exceptional with his wrestling and MMA. He's got the best goddamn fucking
inside
trip I've ever seen. So it's just
Easy
a matter
move.
of
hit it all the time.
not like him.
You never seen mine.
Oh yeah.
If you guys haven't seen mine, go to the Nate Diaz fight. I hit it, I think, twice on him. It didn't look like as good as Henry Cejudo's, but it was still fun. Anyways, let's go ahead and carry on. What's his name?
What's his name?
What's his name? Logan Storley,
Yes.
MVP. I think Logan Storley, he's just got to shoot safe in the first round.
Yeah.
Once he gets one takedown, the fight will start to change.
Absolutely.
I also think, if you guys are watching the fight at home, lots of feints.
Oh yeah.
Try to get Logan or try to get MVP to react,
And one of the things,
and then shoot off.
you got two areas to look at, two courts to hold on to. You can say, for Logan Storley, you want to hide your shots behind your hands, meaning I need to use my hands to get him reacting, and then I go for my takedown, or I actually hide my fucking hands behind the attempt of the takedown. I make him think that I'm going for the takedown. I think I'm going for a knee tap or something like that. And instead of going, my hand comes over the top and I hit him with the overhand right that he's not ready for because his hands are down. And you can catch someone open like that and you can hurt him. So
if you guys don't know what he's talking about, look, go back and watch the very first part he said was he's hiding his takedowns behind his hands. That was Phil Davis, Yoel Romero in Bellator. So go watch that fight. Phil Davis threw his hands. As soon as Yoel started to strike back, lowered his level, boom, blast double, got the takedown against Yoel Romero, two Olympians, silver medalists in the Olympics. Then you've got guys that they feint their takedown, come back up, land a couple shots, feint the takedown again, and then shoot. That is
Kevin Randleman.
No.
Did it against fucking Mirko Krokop and knocked him out. Juan Archuleta has done it multiple times. Sabatella just did it.
Great job against Jordan Lugo. Where he feinted, Lugo defended, came back on the front headlock, didn't get it, went for some striking. He started to defend, boom, blast double. Yeah. Nice job. Great job by Sabatella. Sabatella is one of my favorite fighters, only because he talks a ton of shit. I wish I wanted to put him in a room with John so they could get into it. I would love to see that. Maybe even Podcast Dave, just throw Podcast Dave around. I'd love to see Podcast Dave get thrown around by a 125-pounder.
135.
Whatever, 25, 35, same thing.
It's all the same.
Yeah. When people say, oh, you know what? Have you guys seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith when they go, yeah, well, how long you guys been married? He's like 5 years. She's like 6. Yeah, 5, 6, whatever. Tell your wife that. I love it. Come on, guys. All right, so look. Overall, it's going to be a great fight. It's whoever can implement their game plan. Look for MVP to game plan.
Okay.
Look for MVP to circle, stay away, keep the distance, long-range side kicks, long-range push kicks up the middle, thigh kick. The thigh kick will be key. I think that little oblique kick to the thigh, I think MVP is going to try to use that to try to keep him off balance. Also, the long-range jab, 1-2, and then circle. 1-2, circle. He's southpaw, so the stance will come a little bit differently, but it will be easier for him to snatch a single leg. So when you guys are watching this fight, MVP stands at a southpaw stance. So Logan Storley will be able just to snatch that single and pull him. So he's got to be very cautious about leaving his hands down too long, when he sets that in. So he's going to have to close the distance, step on the outside of that leg with his lead leg, step on the outside, snatch the single right to the lift. A la DC. DC loves that takedown. He snatches the single, pulls it to you. He goes right to the crotch lift and slams. You saw it with Dan Henderson. You saw it with even John Jones. You saw it with Gus. He hit Gus, I think, 2 or 3 times with that.
He hit Gus big time with it.
Yeah. So, the Henderson one was huge. But Dan's a smaller 205-pounder. But Gus, he was able to lift and swoop. So, good stuff. Pay attention to those details when you guys are watching the fights. And, yeah, those are the things that we can bring to you when it comes to John and I breaking these things down. These other shows, they can't do that. Okay, let's talk about the next fight. What's the next fight on there?
Lyoto Machida is taking on. Come on,
Fabian Edwards. I thought the Dennis Kielholtz was the next fight.
No.
Oh, so it's Lyoto and him.
Lyoto Machida against Fabian Edwards.
Okay.
And that you're talking about right there. You're talking about the veteran fighter, the cagey veteran, the guy who's kind of slowing down against the guy who is the athlete, the up and coming, but is Fabian Edwards.
You want my honest to God truth on this?
Yeah, let's hear it. No, I want the light.
This has the This has the potential to be a great fight. This also has the potential to be a freaking snooze fest because both of them are counter strikers.
There you go.
Fabian is a counter striker, and he is someone that waits for it to happen. But even at 40-something years old, they're probably equally the same speed. Now, power-wise, I would go with Fabian. But Fabian's output is not what Lyoto's is. Lyoto tends to have more output, even at the age he's at, than Fabian does. Fabian waits for the fight to happen and then reacts to it. Lyoto will have more output, but I don't know if he has the speed to actually counter him off of that because it's such a different style of fight. Like, we know this. We've talked about this forever. Try to find someone that mimics Stephen Thompson, MVP, Lyoto Machida.
So hard.
It's a pain in the ass.
So hard.
It's a pain in the
Very
ass.
few guys can actually do it. So
not at the level of which they do it at.
Yeah.
And when you bring them in, like literally 5-6 weeks of a camp is not going to help you. It's not gonna, if anything, it's going to frustrate you.
Well, it might frustrate, but it'll at least give you a look so you don't get frustrated in the fight.
That's true.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know, you've been dealing with it, so you have that look and you have that, so you get all that frustration out in the gym as far as closing distance on someone or them, you know, coming in and you not being able to stop what they're doing. But I just look at it and I go, in reality though, Lyoto Machida actually has a good top game. His jiu-jitsu is not bad. It would be smart for him to take Fabian Edwards down.
I've rolled with him.
Yeah. Not heavy.
Not heavy, no submission threat. A little bit of control, but not enough, I don't think. And here's Lyoto's the smaller guy.
Then Fabian?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
John.
No. They're both.
I roll with one, and the other one I see all the damn time. I saw him today.
Fabian Edwards has never fought at 205. Lyoto fights 205 all the time.
Are you telling me Lyoto's going to take him down?
I have a feeling he's going to take him down somewhere along here.
I don't think it's going to be as easy as you think. I don't think Lyoto has the wrestling to
I
take
didn't
him
think
down.
it's going to be easy.
I don't think Lyoto has the wrestling to take him down. And yeah. So look, I think you're going to either end up with someone getting knocked out in terms of they're going to have to catch him coming in, but it could be a boring fight up until that because they're both counter strikers. This is one of those fights I'm like, gosh, I'd like to see Fabian get the win because he's the young and up and comer, but the veteran with the experience he has, Fabian coming off of the fights that hasn't performed the best, wasn't able to get some wins. So he went from being undefeated to 2 in a row.
9-2.
9-2. It's going to be tough, man. Tough stuff. But Lyoto's also not the fighter that he used to be. He's tough. He's good. I think he's definitely got all the experience, but it's hard to match what he can do. And that's going to throw Fabian fucking for a loop, man.
Probably.
Throw him for a loop.
Probably.
And the other thing is he could have called one person to help him here in England. Guess what? Or in the UK. Yeah. But they fucking don't like each other. The one guy he could have called was the fucking MVP.
Hey,
and they don't like each other.
Maybe we should train now.
No, you're right. Yeah. It's like, nah. They do not like each other. All right. The camps don't like each other. I don't know if the two of them don't like each other, but the camps don't like each other. All right, next fight.
Denise Killholtz versus Kana Watanabe.
This is the fight I was most looking forward to, just to be honest, on the card. Watanabe losing to Liz Carmouche and Denise. First loss in her career. She's a stud. But Denise coming off that loss also to Juliana Velasquez.
But it was
in a very close fight.
A very close fight for a championship.
I had it, to be honest, for Denise.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad they gave it to Juliana. But it was a close fight. I had Denise win the fight. I felt like she landed more strikes. I felt like she landed a little more of the power. But when you looked at their face, that didn't seem to be the case.
Yeah.
So, but we can't judge fights based off of the damage, like in terms of what your face looks like, because some people swell up differently.
Well, you can sometimes.
But if I hit John, well, you can't say that. Come on.
Dude, I'm old. I would mark up, trust me.
Exactly. See? I'm old too, though. So
Guess what? You're going to mark up too.
But those big paws you have, for sure I'm marking up. But if I was to say like, hey, you have Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping, who won that fight?
Well, for 2 rounds, Michael Bisping got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, but who won the fight?
Michael Bisping, because he won the next 3 rounds. You can't
go based off of looks, though.
But that's because all the damage happened in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, well, it still happened, though.
But it's
that's
real
my
simple.
point.
If you watch the fight, Bisping wins the next 3 rounds.
We can't judge it based off of damage.
You can,
the way
if you're smart enough to look
the
at
way
where
you
the
look.
damage happened.
You guys, if you guys have seen Michael Bisping after the Dan Henderson fight, have you guys seen Denise Skillholtz after the Juliana Vasquez fight? That's how podcast David looked after I got that one.
Look at Michael Bisping after the Anderson Silva fight.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But that was, to me, a lot of that damage was done in the flying knee that should have never happened.
What do you mean
it was illegal?
What do you mean illegal?
It was after the bell.
Are you fucking nuts?
It was after the bell.
Oh my god!
I'm a Michael Bisping fan.
Okay, are we going to bet on this one?
I'm a Michael
First off,
Bisping
even
fan.
Michael.
I like Michael.
Even
Michael's
Bisping,
lying. Michael doesn't know what he's talking about. He was concussed.
Even Michael Bisping would say that was after the
Michael
bell.
Bisping came back to win the fight. That's all that matters.
Well, he won the fight.
Yeah, because Anderson hit him with a legal knee.
Oh my god!
All right, guys. So that fight right there? Denise Skillholtz being multiple-time world kickboxing. Three-time world kickboxing champion. She's a black belt in judo. Really good throws.
Yeah, but
on the ground,
she ain't throwing Watanabe.
She's not throwing Watanabe. But in that fight, on the feet, we saw against Liz Carmouche with Watanabe, I don't want to say her chin's suspect. It's not suspect because she took some big shots in that fight. But if Denise took anything away from that fight, let the hands go. Let them fly. And she's got power. She's got speed. And I think she's got more power than Liz.
I think she does too in the stand-up.
Yeah. Yep.
If she lets it go, she can actually hurt her and get rid of her.
That's a tough fight. So Watanabe's got her hands full. She's got to get this fight to the ground, try and control Denise. I don't know if she can. Denise is getting better at takedown defense, and she's got bigger power in the hands.
Denise is a handful when it comes to the stand-up. And her ground has gotten better. Her takedown defense has definitely gotten better. She's a good person. She's fun to watch. So
her versus Liz excites me.
Yeah. That's a good fight.
Because they're both shorter in stature. They both got some good stand-up.
Liz is a monster compared to Denise.
What do you mean?
As far as height.
Really?
Yeah, Denise is like 5'3".
So she's as tall as Michael Chandler. That was good. That was good. Look, guys. Look, come on. I got to cover Jackson. If I can't joke, it's not fun.
Michael Chandler is
5'3.5".
Probably as tall as you.
You shut your freaking mouth right now. I'll throw you through this screen.
I think he might be even taller.
Gosh, this guy's got the worst jokes ever. Gosh, it's like podcast Dave trying to be a comedian. All right. All right, what's the next fight there, buddy?
All right, you got Paul Daly and Wendell Giacomo.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is Paul Daly's supposed retirement fight. He was supposed to fight Andrei Koreshkov, who called him out, which would have been
a great
an
fight.
Absolutely stellar fight. A fight that I would love to see based upon visa problems and things like that. Andrei Koreshkov is not in this, and it's Wendell Giacomo. And this is a good retirement fight for Paul. Anybody that, if you love MMA, you have to love Paul Daly as a fighter.
Yep.
Because he is a fighter, man. And he is explosive, and he will come after you, and he tries to, if he hurts you, he smells blood, man, he finishes you. So
what we have to remember is this. He was one fight away from fighting for the UFC title.
Yeah, it was.
And he would have been probably one fight away from fighting for the UFC title again had he not done what he did.
Oh, yeah.
He was loved by Dana and the UFC. Yeah. They loved him. They were fucking Paul Daly dick riders. That's how much they loved him. The problem was is you can't punch people after the fucking the fight's been announced.
It's bad for the promotion.
It's bad for the promotion. It's bad for
everything.
People, your arena is filled with, let's just say, 10% kids. You can't have parents bring their kids to these events, and that's what we love about MMA. They should bring their kids, but you got to continue that by condemning things like that, and that's what happened. And so he fell off for a while, then got signed by the Bellator because he just couldn't get fights anymore. People were like, they want to take a chance. Like, hey, I can't have you like hitting people after you win or after you lose.
Yeah.
So, and it's sad because Paul, to me, honestly, is still one of the best fighters in the world. Even at 38 years old, he's so damn good. 39. Yeah. He's so damn good. Now, he gets rocked here and there, like, with his last fight with Hamasi, probably outside of his Nate Diaz fight, probably the two of the best fights I've ever seen in the history of the sport. And I've seen a lot of damn fights. John's seen a ton of fights. We both kind of agree. It's in our top 10. It's in our top 10 for sure.
That's great.
Him and Nick Diaz, to me, is number one. I don't know where that is for you. Hands down, best one-round fight I think I've ever seen. Hands down, best one-round fight I've ever seen. Nick Diaz and Paul Daly. But I'd have to put him and Hamasi as the best probably the best two-round fight I've ever seen. The back and forth, the drop, the just get back and then finish the round strong, comes out, gets into. It was just a great fight. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure you guys check it out.
Yep.
But how do you say his name? Giacomo? He's got his hands full.
Yes.
He's got his hands full. He should try to slow Paul down, press him to the fence. But Paul's gotten really good at stuffing takedowns, and not only that, but he's gotten good at getting his back off the fence and making you pay for it.
Paul's wrestling has gotten actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
He's now a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You realize that?
Yeah, I'd like to see him get a finish, a submission.
I would love to see that. Because I think out of all of his fights, this will be his 64th fight.
Jeez.
64 fights. 40, I want to say 40
42,
knockouts.
18 and 2.
Yeah.
How many knockouts?
I think he's got 40 knockouts.
34 knockouts.
Oh, 34.
Jeez.
Okay. Still, it's incredible.
More knockouts than I have fights.
How many submissions? I don't think he has any. He might have one.
Let's see. I don't think he's got any. No submissions.
I love that. So,
Hey, but just be honest.
come on, wouldn't it be nice
Until
to
Chris Cyborg fought Arlene Blanco the first time, she had no submissions either.
Yeah.
Let's go, Paul. Submission. Give me the rear naked. Give me an armbar. Give me something.
Oh,
Guillotine. I'll take
I
guillotine.
want to go plata.
Get the fuck out of here. Paul doesn't even know what that is, even as a black belt. All right, next fight.
We have Luke Trainer and Simon B. Young.
Yeah, I look at both these guys, right? I look at Luke. Luke's relatively young in the sport. He's got a lot to prove still. He's got a lot to learn.
Yep.
And Biong is good.
Super athletic.
Super athletic. Can he stay off his
Very
back?
strong. Don't think he can stay off his back with Luke Trainer. Luke Trainer is he does things right.
How tall is Luke?
6'4", 6'5". Biong is 6'3", I would say. So it's not like he's gonna have a big size advantage. But
Sherlock has him at 6'6".
Thank you.
They got Luke Trainer at 6'6".
Correct.
Yeah, not Biong. Okay.
Yeah, I thought Luke was over 6'4", 6'5".
He's got power in his hands. He does a good job with his wrestling. He's both offensive and defensive. So, he's one of those guys you got to look for. Like you said, he's young. He's got a long ways to go. He's got a lot of fights in the future that are going to help build him into being the guy that he can be. But he's fun to watch. But the guy that he's fighting in Biong, that's an athlete, and you can't make mistakes because, as we saw, in the past, Biong doesn't just go away easy. So, it's a good fight. That will be an entertaining fight. They're going to go after each other.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up our Bellator talk. So we're going to wrap that up. We're going to move right into the UFC because the UFC has some good fights coming up. The fight. This is
The main card is-
This
the
is
main-
a really good fight. No, the main event. Let's not
Yes.
carry
That's what I
on.
was going to say. The main card is okay. The main event is a good fight.
The main event is going to be a great fight.
I
think you've got Rakic. How do you say his name? Rakic. Rakic. He is a stud.
Alexander Rakic is a stud.
Look, Blachowicz got his hands full.
Yeah.
Everywhere. On the ground, on the feet, athleticism.
I think he
all
matches
those
up
things.
pretty well with him.
Where, on the ground?
Yeah.
I think okay. I will give you I'll concede that. But I'll say whoever's on top is the better fighter.
Oh, absolutely. But Blachowicz is going to be a load for Rakic to get to the point where he takes him down. He's not going to have an easy time with it. So it's going to start off with Rakic, I think, he's got the more actual technical stand-up and uses length, where Blachowicz has got good stand-up, but he relies on power. And he's got power. He can rely on it. He can touch you with one shot, and he can hurt you. I think this is one of those fights, though, as I look at it, it's almost that crossing of the paths where now Rakic is still climbing, and is Jan staying at that level, or is he starting to come down just a little bit? This is the fight that's going to tell me.
I think what you have here is that Rakic will kick more. He'll stay long with the combinations, whereas Blachowicz got to fight you in a phone booth. So he's got to push you into
He's
that
going to fight
boxing
him more
range.
as a boxer.
And he's got to push him more into the boxing range. May threaten the takedowns if he can, but I don't think he'll be able to get the takedowns. If he does, I think Rakic's going to get back up. And so as the fight goes on in a 5-round fight, I think Blachowicz will start to slow down by rounds 3 and 4, and Rakic, being the younger fighter, is going to be able to push on that pace, use those kicks to send up body kicks, leg kicks, and he kicks like a fucking truck.
Yeah,
You see what he did in Minowa?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Boom. Lights out.
Not good.
Yeah. Just shin to the dome.
It's
That's Joe Rogan would say.
usually not a good thing. All right. Co-main is not one that I'm thrilled with. I wish they had done something different, but I like Ryan Spann. He's a good fighter, fun to watch. Ian Cutelaba, very aggressive guy, comes out, tries to maul his opponent, tries to intimidate his opponent. He's not going to intimidate Ryan Spann, but he's going to have difficulties with Spann's length because he likes to stay in that. It's very similar to Ankalaev. He had problems with the length. And so this is a fight where I think Kutalaba's got to do the exact same thing. He's got to come into him, and he's got to be that brawler. He's got to get into that boxing distance, actually get into the phone booth to be successful against Ryan Spann.
Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying. I think Kutalaba's got to make sure he fights on the phone booth, press him to the fence, try and make it a dirty, grimy fight. Because that's the way he fights the best.
Style.
Where Ryan Spann's going to be able to just piece him up, touch him up from the outside, use the reach and the range. When you talk about Louis Smolka versus Davy Grant.
Which cracks me up. Okay, and nothing. I love Louis Smolka. Great guy. Here's a guy that they cut just recently and stuff, and now he's in their main card, which Davy Grant's fun to watch also. He's a fucking gamer. He goes after it. I think they just looked at this and go, this is going to be an action-packed fight, so we're going to put it on the main card. Because it's not one that you would normally think would be there. Well,
John, it's like you got to remember, they're coming off pay-per-view, and you're generally going to get these type of fight cards after their pay-per-view. Because they understand that, okay, we're all pay-per-viewed out. Most fans are like, okay, we've just spent $75, okay, or whatever it is to watch pay-per-view. Now I want something that's free, but why would we deliver something that's free and still good? Let's give you what we can. Yeah, but let's give you some action-packed fights.
But you got guys like Michael Johnson that are on the prelims.
I know Michael's been around for a while, but that means that Michael's been around for a while.
Yeah, but how many people really even know who Davy Grant is? How many people?
I do, but
yeah, you.
It's like,
of course you do, I do, but I'm just thinking most people don't even know who he is as a fighter.
What is more of a slap in the face? Scroll back up. The Amanda Hebus fight.
No, that's on the main card.
That is on the main card, but how is that not higher up? Well, against Chukagian.
Based upon the fact that Chukagian, I think, is number 2.
Where's she at, Dave? Podcast Dave, can you pull that up?
Number 2?
She's 2 or 3. She's somewhere in that mix,
Chukagian
right?
Hebus is in the top 10, right?
Chukagian is actually 10, and Hebus is
6.
I don't see her in there.
You're looking at
20. She's sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was
pound for pound. You're looking at pound for pound.
125.
Hebus is 9, and Chukagian is number 1 at 25.
That's my
Hebus
point.
is 9 at 15. Hebus is 9 at 15.
What? Oh, Hebus is 9, and then what?
50.
Hebus is 9 at 115, and then Chukagian's 1 at 25.
Got it.
Oh, so what is this at?
125.
At 125.
This is at 25.
But still, Chukagian's your number 1 ranked fighter.
I'm sorry, but
you would think that would be the co-main.
He was too good looking to have on the prelims.
It's not on the prelims.
I know, I get it. She's got to be co-main event. I'm sorry. Right. Sorry, guys. Just call it like it is.
It's just co-main event material.
She fucking fights her ass off. She's fun to watch fight. Chukagian's ranked high. Let's go.
That's actually a good fight because Chukagian brings a pace.
Yep.
But she does that one thing where she always, makes the sound with everything she throws.
It drives me crazy. Like Monica Seles when she hit the tennis ball. Drove me nuts. Drove me nuts. That's it. I was like,
All right. Anything else? Here's a good one.
What's this one?
Viviana Araújo against KGB Andrea Lee.
I love Andrea Lee.
That's a good fight.
Me some Andrea Lee.
Andrea Lee is fun to watch. She goes after
a fucking dog.
And again, Michael Johnson
Not in a bad
against
way.
Alan Patrick.
Yeah.
That's a good fight.
That is a good fight.
That's why I was surprised. That's on the prelims.
Yeah. Look, I think what they're thinking is that, look, Michael Johnson's been out for a while.
Yeah.
What's he going to look like? What changes he made? Like, has he had enough time to rest, get himself back to normal, and be motivated to come back and fight? Who knows? I mean, here's the other thing. People need to realize that the promotions here, from managers, coaches, people that they train with, because there's a bunch of little people in there, like spies, kind of, that they go back to the UFC and they say, hey, yeah, so-and-so's not training.
Call them ratones.
Someone's getting hurt in training. Someone got dropped in training. The younger guys are beating them up now. The buzz is around. When Dana has dinner with people, when Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard have lunch or dinner or have drinks with other fighters, these little things get buzzed about. And managers, they also meet and talk. So these are all things that get buzzed about, like, hey, so-and-so, he hasn't been training all that much, or, he just had a baby, or he hasn't been in the gym that often, or he's been getting hurt by someone, or his grappling, he hasn't been spending any time on the mat, whatever it is. That all gets pushed back. So that will dictate kind of where you're at on the card as well. So as I agree with John, I think Michael Johnson deserves to be higher up. But you never know. And I'm not saying anything, but I'm simply saying that stuff gets talked about. So that might be a reason why he's lower. Might be. Right. It also might be a reason like he's not fighting someone who's in the top 15.
Okay.
All right. Outside of that, any other fights on this card? Because we got some news to talk about too.
Let's talk about some news.
All right, let's go.
All right.
That wraps up our UFC talk. Dave, what else you got for us when it comes to news?
All right. So first of all, they released a couple of days ago the UFC 276 lineup, which is the International Fight Week. How many times do you want me to say week?
No fight week.
Week.
That's a Dave.
I was just saying week because I was trying to remind Josh how he's not strong. So that's July 2nd.
Says the guy who posted a fake mile he ran with no sweat on him. Says that guy. I love that guy. Go ahead, right ahead. Go ahead.
Oh man.
Notice how he didn't deny it. I love it. Did never deny the fact that he never ran. He just posted a fake mile. Love it. Go ahead. Go carry on. I was
proud of you, Dave.
Yeah.
Carry on, Dave. Carry on. I'm supporting you in your propaganda.
UFC 276 is headlined by Adesanya and Cannonier. So that's your title fight. What do you guys think?
I think it's a great fight. I think the real problem in that fight, I love Jared Cannonier. He's a great guy. He's a tough fighter. He's technically very controlled. Mm-hmm. Does a good job of cutting his opponent off in the cage to be able to land his shots. He's just fighting a guy that right now is just the technician when it comes to the stand-up game. And he's head and shoulders above most people when it comes to bringing a variety of striking that you haven't seen before. It's not going to be an easy fight for Jared Cannonier. He's definitely going to be the underdog in this. But he can win the fight because, man, he is a dog, and he will get after him, and he will give it everything he has. But you got to say that Adesanya right now, he's the favorite in that fight.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's a favorite. He's
a champ.
He's a champ. What's the co-main event?
Co-main event is Volkanovski and Holloway 3.
There you go.
How in the fuck is that not the main event? I'm sorry, man.
It's weight classes. That's how they do it.
That is
when you have a championship fight, whichever championship fight.
That is the lamest bullshit ever. Better fight is the lower fight.
Did I say it was the fucking...
That is weight discrimination.
I'm just telling you what it is.
That's weight discrimination.
Weight discrimination. Well, now we're going to talk about it. What if they do something with vertically challenged people like you and Mike Chandler?
You're getting older too. You're getting a little more vertically challenged.
I'm fucking totally older.
The bottom line is this.
Josh, didn't you have a poster in your gym where Ronda and Misha were a headline over you and Gilbert? And they're lighter?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So just weight classes didn't matter then. It was just
No. That's what I'm saying. The better fight was the Misha. I didn't say it ended up being the better fight. I'm saying that at the time, it was the more marketable fight.
Oh, okay. Just as long as we're on the same page with that.
In Ohio.
No, I never fought Gilbert in Ohio.
Well, that's what I'm thinking because the Miesha Tate Ronda Rousey fight was in Ohio.
Oh, maybe I got hurt then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
You didn't fight on the same card.
Oh, I didn't fight them on that same card. I don't remember. I only care about my
Listen,
fights.
you know what card you fought.
Yeah, I don't. Anyways. Yeah, that fight was supposed to happen. It never happened, yeah. I ended up going, though.
Well, you might have gone, but
Yeah, I went. Because we did the Columbus, what was it called? What's that? Arnold
Yeah,
Classic. Arnold Classic was out there. Look, the better fight is Max and
come on,
and
yes.
Volkanovski.
You got to look at it and say yes.
Yes,
Yes,
right?
that's why it's a trilogy fight.
Yeah, the better fight is that fight. So why is that not the main event? Now, I understand the first two fights with the Volk, but the second one was very questionable. The first one to me wasn't questionable. Volk ran away with it.
Volk
The second
won
one
the
was questionable. I actually had Max winning. Okay, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to argue with the judges because it was a close fight. So when you left it that close, however it goes, it goes.
No.
The
I'm arguing with the judges
Cannonier
on that
fight, the Cannonier fight and the Izzy fight, I don't think it's going to be a close fight. And I like Jerry Cannonier. I just don't think he has the wrestling and the strength to get him down and the ability to stay on the feet for too long without getting knocked out.
That is the problem.
Especially in a 5-round fight. So when you're coming down to that fight, what's the other fights on that card?
So next to the two title fights, we got Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira.
Oh, that's the fight. The one I made. I called that fight.
I didn't even get to hear what the other guy was. He was fighting because
Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira. You did call that fight.
I did call that fight.
And I thought it was
it
was a little too fast and jump up in competition.
Nope. I think that's a great fight.
But in all fairness, I'm really pissed off that Luke Rockhold didn't get that fight. Super
which
pissed.
Fight? The fight against
Either
Strickland?
one. I wanted Strickland because Strickland was ranked higher, but I wanted that fight, whether it was Pereira or it was. But
that would be the stupidest thing they could do.
Luke would have taken him down and just stopped him.
That's why I said that's the stupidest.
I
thing
get what
they
I get what you're
could
saying,
do.
but see, I'm a homer, and most of you guys know that when you listen to this show. Is I'm an AKA guy.
UFC
I'm a Luke
did the
Rockhold
right
fan.
thing.
Okay, but
They
Strickland
would have
was
made
a better fight.
mistake by putting Pereira
The
against
Strickland
Rockhold.
and Rockhold
Based
fight was
upon
already
ground.
made, and injury took him out. I wanted to see that fight. Yeah,
Strickland gets
that was
Pereira.
the fight to have.
And you're
nuts.
looking at it. Strickland being the guy who he's crazy anyways. This is the right time if you're going to try to take on Alex. This is the time to do it.
Strickland's going to become a wrestler in this fight.
This is a really good card.
All he does,
card.
he talks about how Stan, there's that guy on YouTube or Instagram or whatever that does videos talking about be a man. I love it. This is one of those fights. Yeah, he says something like, yeah, ruin your own day. Be a man. It's like the little one-liners. He's great. I don't know who his name is or what he is. I don't even know his Instagram follow. Maybe you can look that up, Dave. But the guy's awesome. He just does like little short clips about, like next time your wife says this or does this, say this, this, and this, be a man. It's great. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, if you want to get divorced, be a man. That kind of thing, right? I think that's a great fight as long as Strickland doesn't turn into a wrestler, which I think he's going to turn into a wrestler.
You also have Miesha Tate and Lauren Murphy going at flyweight, and then Pedro Munoz and Sean O'Malley at bantamweight.
Ooh, that's a fight. That's a fight right there.
That's a big step up for Sean O'Malley.
It is. It is. You're not getting they're not getting the Pedro Munoz that 2 years ago, but you're getting still a really, really good.
You're talking about the guy that's got big power.
Yeah, big power.
For 135
but the
pounds.
output's not what it used to be.
I agree with you.
And I love Pedro, man. I love the way he fights.
But it's someone that Sean cannot exploit on the ground.
No.
He's actually probably at a deficit on the ground.
It's close.
It's close. Yeah. It's close, but probably at a deficit. His length will give him some advantages in some ways, but he better have a high output volume in keeping Pedro on his back foot and making it to where he's just picking him apart. Because if he doesn't, Pedro gets inside on him, it's going to be rough on him.
Sean can't afford to take shots like he did against that kid. It was Chris.
Moatino or something.
Moatino, yeah. He can't afford to take Pedro shots like that. He took some shots in that fight as the fight went on because he started getting tired a little bit. His output was great in that fight.
Oh, yeah.
He was a fucking animal in that fight. So many punches, so many, exactly. You hit the word right on the head. You hit the word right on the head. You hit the nail right on the head. It was another Jossism. Okay, so you hit it perfectly. It was just he was touching with the jab, push kicks, everything was on point in that fight in terms of his output, his accuracy, his movement. He looked phenomenal, man. Sean O'Malley looked like such a savage. But he still got hit though. And Chris, whatever his name was, Moitino or whatever, just didn't have the power to get him out of there. But Pedro's got the power.
Oh, yeah.
So if Pedro has the output and can take a couple of those shots and land a shot of his own, Sean might be in trouble. Now, if he also takes a page out of Chito's book and throws the calf kick.
Boom, there you go.
Now,
That's what I was going to say. The other part is if Pedro's smart, he's going to start attacking. Sean leaves those legs are long, and when he decides to throw his hands, he starts to separate his legs and he plants down a little bit. And there's
not a lot of muscle on those legs, really.
There's nothing there.
But in terms of, did you hear the Sean O'Malley quote today?
No.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Chito's earned a rematch. So, I love that.
Yeah, well.
I love when guys do that because it's like, yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and welcome him back and he can go ahead and fight me for the second time. I don't know if that's a fight he wants.
It's not a fight he wants.
But I think he's setting it up perfectly. If I beat Pedro, I want that fight again. I don't think he
want that fight
I don't
again?
think he should take it, but it puts him right back in that top 3 or 4 in the rankings. If he gets that win, it's a tough fight for him. Chito is that guy that will be there in the 5th, as we said. Rob Font found out.
Let's just look at between that fight that Chito Vera beat Sean O'Malley. He's now also beaten Frankie Edgar, Rob Font. He's fighting a higher quality competition than Sean O'Malley is. Why would he even look at going backwards?
I think did Sean restructure? He must have restructured his contract, or he's getting there. Yeah, he had to. So he had to have got that. So perfect.
That's why he's fighting.
I'm glad he's getting more money.
Good for him.
Good for him. Hopefully it's the money he deserves. He deserves to be in that top, I'd say in the top 5, top 7 pay, even though he's not fighting the guys in the top 5, 7 yet. But he deserves that pay because he is a star. He's someone that people tune in to watch.
Respond to him.
More so than Pedro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Sean. Proud of you, bud.
Good stuff.
Next, who else on that card?
Well, that's your main card right there. It was Misha and Lauren were the other fight.
Good fight. Is that at 125?
125. That's
25. Yep.
That's Misha's first fight at 125.
That's actually
that's a good fight,
and that's a good fight for Misha at 125.
Yeah,
in the fact that Misha's not real fast. She's dropping down in weight, but Lauren's not a real fast athlete. Nope. They both have very good ground games that they're going to kind of cancel each other
both
out
coming
a
off
little
losses.
bit. Yep, both coming off
losses.
That fight makes sense.
And if Misha beats her, that puts her right in that talk of a title shot. Am I wrong?
Sure does. Lauren's number 2. So
Lauren's number 2.
Lauren just lost to Shevchenko. So
yeah. So that puts her right in that conversation if she beats her. I think a lot of it has to do with how she beats her. If she barely inks one out in a split decision, they're going to be like, okay, well, you're there, but let's maybe have a fight number 3 or number 1. Yeah, number 1 more. Okay, but if she ends up going out there and subbing her or knocking her out or ground and pounding her out, whatever it is, I think they look to give her a title shot right away. Because, look, they're tired of they're going to start burning through the same people.
They need somebody.
Yeah, they need somebody there.
For Shevchenko, and at least Misha's got a name.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's been the bantamweight champion.
Exactly.
Well, if Hebus wins this weekend, that would put Hebus, right there at number 1 or 2 if she beats Chukagian. So
yeah,
there's also that possibility as well.
Hebus is not going to be at number 1.
Well,
she's
I'm saying if
jump
Hebus,
that far. You have lost.
If she beats number 1, you don't think they're gonna consider her for a title shot? She's like their future star.
Absolutely not.
She is their future star.
If she beats Chukagian, she'll move up to somewhere around 5.
I disagree. I think she'll move to 3.
Yeah,
going all that way.
She'll move to 3. Yeah,
she's 9 right now.
3.
I mean,
yeah, she'll move to 3. I mean, example is this: is I came in.
Who's number 2 and 3 right now?
Flyweight 2 and 3 are Lauren Murphy and Jessica Andrade.
Andrade, she's not going to pass Andrade.
Ooh, you're right. You might be right there, but she'll be in that top 3, not number 5. Okay. I love you. I love it, man. I love it. Because a classic example is this: is that Nate fought Benson before I came to the UFC. I wasn't ranked yet. Fought Nate. I only went to 3. I didn't get higher than 2 and 3. He was number 1 at the time. So,
Doesn't Dana hate you though?
yeah, that's true. He does.
You know why?
Yeah, we all know. I think majority of people know why. All right, carry on. Let's get some news. Let's do some news.
right.
We're at.
We're gonna wrap up on this one. It's the big one.
We're having a great time right now. Come on, Dave. You can't leave. We got good lighting. Okay, I can see John's beautiful gray hair.
So Nate Diaz wants out of the UFC. Obviously been very vocal online, and Michael Chandler has responded to him. Nate Diaz says
everyone responded to him.
Well, so Nate puts out July 30th, 170 pounds. Michael Chandler, obviously still on the high from the weekend, says, I'm there, quick turnaround, spin your head on its axis. And then he followed it up and told Nate to shut up, stop complaining, keep your mouth shut, keep your head down until your daddy books your fight to get your sacrificial dome bounced off the canvas again. Maybe it'll be me. If you're lucky, see you at the top.
Then Nate replied, that's why. So Nate replied in the middle of there, so you're missing one tweet. Nate replied that the UFC had him on ice.
Yeah, and
then that's when Chandler came back and said, stop complaining. So, look, I think it really comes down to, I would love to see that fight. We talked about it earlier in the show. To me, that would be the fight to make. Because, look, if Nate does leave, which I believe, and I've said this for over a year now, okay, it's been about a year, that he is leaving. He's leaving to do a fight with one of the Paul guys, Poodlehead kid. Okay, he's leaving to do one of those. And even if he doesn't, he's going to leave and he wants to be left alone. I don't think he wants to be under contract with anyone when he retires. He wants to be able to just walk away. I think he sees what's going on with his brother and how his brother is locked in to the UFC. He has nothing. He can't do anything without the UFC's permission when it comes to events for boxing, events for MMA, whatever it is. He can't do any of that. And so I think he understands, I want to be out of my contract. So in a year, when Jake comes knocking or anybody comes knocking for boxing or MMA, he has the freedom to do whatever he wants and he can charge whatever he wants. So he's not stuck in this Ngannou situation where, should I use Dana to negotiate my boxing? No, they want to be free. And they've always wanted to be free. That's them. So I think the fight to make is this. You make Chandler because guess what? Chandler has a really good chance of beating him. Okay? He can out-wrestle him for 5 rounds. He can stand with him a little bit. He's going to be very cautious with the stand-up as the fight goes on because Chandler does slow down by rounds 2.5, 3. He will slow down. And Nate's going to just push the pace, stick the jab in his face. He's going to rock him, hurt him a little bit. So in a 5-round fight, it's a fun fight. But if Chandler wins, Nate goes off on a loss. If Nate wins, it sucks, but Chandler's also fought for the title. You're not losing anything because you still have Islam and Dariush. They're the number one, number 2 contenders outside of Dustin and Justin and all these other guys that have random names. Okay, so I think it's a good fight to have.
That's going to be a very difficult fight for Nate to win, in my opinion.
I agree.
And look, I love Nate, but good wrestlers have always been his kryptonite.
Huge. Him and his brother both.
Yeah, and the fact that Chandler is a good wrestler, Chandler is physically strong, where Nate's not that strong of a guy.
At all.
His submissions are good, but they're not going to catch Chandler, especially as the fight goes on. And
not with the strength that Nate has.
Yeah, and so that's a difficult fight for Nate. But if Nate takes it, that's awesome. And that's his that will be his exit fight. But it actually, if you're the UFC, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it really does. Because Chandler, and this is for all those people out there that wanted to say that I was a homer or that, and I said, look, Chandler's gonna do well in the UFC and they're gonna like him. They love him.
They love
him.
And
the fans have responded to him.
Yeah.
Just take a look at, the little promo that he did there after that fight with Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
When he went into his Chael Sonnen shtick.
Yeah.
Man, they ate that up. They loved it. And I don't blame them because the fans loved it. And they now want to see each one of those fights. It doesn't matter. each one that he called out. And now it's not going to even be any of those three. It would be Nate Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a huge fight. They're going to make a ton of money off of that fight.
Yeah.
And they'll probably, be keeping the guy that's going to, in my opinion, I think Mike Chandler wins it. And I hate to see Nate go out with a loss, but it's going to be a tough fight for him.
We say we hate to see him go out on a loss, but guess what?
do.
He's lost the last couple.
Yeah.
So he would end up going on a loss anyways if he just walked away and wasn't able to fight.
True.
The bottom line is this.
True.
No matter what happens to Nate, whether he lost this one or 4 more in a row, he would still ride off into the sunset and still get a lot of money for the Jake Paul fight.
That's true.
And that's the thing. So like I've said, there's certain fighters that just are immune to what happens. Masvidal kind of being one of them. Okay, Nate and Nick are definitely part of that. There's certain guys that you can just, we don't give a shit if you lost. We just want to see Conor McGregor.
Okay, go on back to that real quick.
Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah, Conor's definitely.
He's going to come back and fight again in 3 losses in a row? But no one's going to give a shit.
Masvidal was, a ham and egger for a long time. No one gave him credit for anything. Everyone that knew him knew he was a good fighter.
Yeah.
But he never got, that rub where people were,
I see what you did there, Rob. I saw what you did there.
People, wanted to see him and stuff like that. And it really was, if you think about it, and he had a couple of good fights in the UFC that, put him in that position. He beat Donald Cerrone and things like that. But it was when Nate Diaz called him out and said, "This is for the baddest motherfucker." That really fucking put him over the top.
But see, I thought it was the Ben Askren fight. The only reason why I thought it was the Ben Askren
fight was after that.
No, I thought it was before that.
No.
Dave, look that up.
Yeah, look that up.
I think Ben was first.
I could be wrong.
I think Ben was first. So the reason why I think the Ben situation threw him over the top, the reason why the Ben fight threw him over the top is after he knocked him out, he sat down next to him and started stomping the mat and doing the whole falling over. That to me is what catapulted him to that next level. And then the Nate fight. Dave, did you look it up?
Yep, it was Ben first, then Nate.
Okay.
See, some of you guys think John's mind is still trapped. Okay, he's 80 years old, guys. Okay, let's just clarify this right now. I love it
because he had the incident with Leon that was after the Darren Till fight.
Yeah,
and that one was kind of, that got people's
attention.
Well, the Darren Till fight itself got their attention, and then the whole thing that happened.
It couldn't have happened at a better time.
Oh no,
he chained it together probably better than anyone else. I mean, just the Darren Till knockout. Then the thing in Leon Edwards in the back would piece him up. 2 pieces of soda. Yeah. That's why we still talk about it, because he got him with the 2 pieces of soda. The one-liners were great.
Oh,
then he went out there and starched Ben Askren. Yeah. But to me, with the Ben Askren thing, where he did he felt like he was a dead body and just fell over in the cage, and then he was hitting the mat afterwards, pointing at him. Those are the things that people remember. I remember the knockout, sure, but I remember specifically the whole stiff body and falling over. I remember that. And then he goes out there and fights Nate. You know? I don't know. I mean,
there are those guys.
There's certain guys that are just immune to whatever it is you do. Conor McGregor being the guy, realistically, leads the way in terms of, it doesn't matter if he lost 10 times in a row. People would still pay to watch him either lose or to win. He is like a Floyd Mayweather. People either want to see him win or they want to see him lose.
Basically, it's Teflon.
It's Teflon. It really is. Yeah, a really bad Teflon. But
really bad Teflon.
All right. Is that everything?
That's us.
Okay, so if you guys are listening to this show, if you took anything away from this, Charles Oliveira is legit. He is a great fighter. He's absolutely amazing.
Charles Oliveira is the best lightweight in the world.
You guys, I want you guys to understand that. I have nothing but respect for him and his talent. And I love the fact that he can get dropped, roll back to his back and say, "Come to Poppy," and no one is willing to jump in there. I love that. But guess what? Islam's your guy. I know you guys hate it when I say that. I'll read the comments later because I know that's what I do. John knows I spent a couple hours doing it, but I have fun, man. I love this, guys. I love doing this. I love being next to my buddy here. Okay, I love, picking on Podcast Dave because Podcast Dave is one of my best friends.
Picking on old men.
I do love picking on old men, even Podcast Dave.
Right.
Okay.
For everyone out there, thanks for watching, listening, all the good stuff. We hope you were entertained. And the next time we'll actually be in studio, so it will be a little bit better sound quality, a little better lighting. And
I have to move my studio next week.
Well, that's awesome.
That's going to
have a bad studio. But
I never have a bad studio.
Everyone out there, Have a good week. Do something kind for somebody just because you can, and we will see you.
No, sorry. We have to tune in to Showtime. Watch Bellator this Friday night.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys watch the UFC as well. Bellator Friday night. We are here from London, and we will see you.
See you.